the heart of England, a timeless tradition has been steeped in history and brewed with elegance. From the bustling streets of London to the serene countryside of Bath, from the charming villages of Cotswolds to the historic landmarks of Cambridge, afternoon tea has left its mark throughout the country.
So afternoon tea is a most elegant pause in the busy day, and it's refreshments such as dainty sandwiches, dainty cakes, and a cup of tea. And it's usually shared with other special people, and you enjoy conversation whilst enjoying your delicious treats. So back in Victorian times, lunch was served at around 12 o'clock, midday, and dinner was served at about 8 p.m. in the evening. And one of the ladies, who was the Duchess of Bedford, complained of a sinking feeling halfway through the afternoon. I understand that feeling. And so she asked for bread and tea and cake to be brought up to her chambers. And then the idea kind of took hold, and it was originally ladies getting together and sharing this. And then when she moved into London, she invited other people to come for this. And in fact, they would go walking and then taking of tea in the middle of the afternoon. And the idea snowballed, and the hotels started to put it on. And there used to be fashionable parades in the parks of London, like Green Park, and the ladies, either in carriages, horses, in all their very best dresses, and the gentlemen with their top hats would parade through the park, kind of showing off, look what I've got. So high tea is a misnomer. It should not be called high tea. It's a mistake. But many countries in the world do call it high tea. Australia does, Canada does, America, I think, does. So afternoon tea is what it should be called. High tea used to be the working man would come home from a busy day of work. He'd sit down at a high table and he would have cutlery. And he would eat his meat and potatoes at the high table, his dinner, his supper, and that was high tea. And afternoon tea was often sat at a low table. You'd be in a living room, you'd have the food on the side, and you'd be talking to people. So it should never have been called high tea, afternoon tea, but it sort of stuck. So they're one and the same thing. Unless you're talking about the original meaning, high tea was a working man's supper, and sometimes there will be a break between the different courses. So the first thing you start with is savoury food. Now that will include sandwiches, usually delicate, tiny little either finger sandwiches or triangles. Then there's two other courses. One is the cakes and pastries, and one is the scone or scone. So if you're in a cheap cafe, they will offer English breakfast tea, and you might get Earl Grey tea or a fruit tea. If you're in a London hotel, you'll get a menu with pages and pages: white tea, green tea, oolong tea, black tea, the house tea, and so on. It's considered most polite to pour tea in first and add milk after. Most people stir their tea like this. That's apparently not correct. We should be going backwards and forwards. It is all right to use your hands to break things. We tend to think, that would be a rude thing to do. But actually, if your sandwich is too big, it is fine just to gently break it without a big fuss. You don't, not here, but down on the plate. So if the plate was there, you would just discreetly do that. The correct thing to do is to break it with your hands, and you just prise it apart like that into two halves. Do not take that cream and put it directly on your scone. That is considered bad manners. You put it on the side of your plate. And the same with the jam. You put the jam on the side of your plate. And then from there, you will put the cream and the jam onto the scone. So most hotels will bring you a pastry fork and you hold it in your dominant hand. You don't have to hold it in your left hand. And you may break into your cake and eat bites that way.
The tradition has become increasingly popular all over the world and most famously adapted in Asia. This rise in popularity has extended to various aspects of culture, including the beloved tradition of afternoon tea. In Indonesia, most five-star restaurant hotels have made the afternoon tea a standard service, one of them being Park Hyatt in Jakarta. The afternoon tea has evolved to incorporate regional flavors and ingredients, creating a unique blend of international and local influences in this delightful ritual.
Here in Park Hyatt Jakarta, we don't have any tier at the moment. Also for the afternoon tea, for the Nusantara afternoon tea, we serve course by course. It's basically same like tier, but we serve it course after course. So basically, we can say start with the savory. So it's a pastel tutuk. We have a pastel tutuk. It's basically more like a chicken ragu in Indonesia, and also we have a beef marangi. But we twist with not in the satay, so we twist in the small portion. Gulai rice cracker also we combine with the scones, which is our originally from British for the afternoon tea. And also the sweets, we have an Indonesian selection also like srikaya, es teler, and also the pisang hijau for the finale. We basically have a 5 course, so we start amus-bus with the amus-bus, followed by the savory, the warm baked items, the sweets, and also the finale. In the conservatory, we collaborate with the Damanti Frares, so we serve almost 18 type of tea, so the guests may choose between these 18 of selections. Also, we're providing our Indonesian demands, so they also like to have coffee, right? So we also provide coffee beside of the tea. If the ibu-ibu or some of our guests want to have a gathering, they have their own dress code, right? So yeah, our dress code is actually casual, doesn't have any specific dress code.
The purpose of afternoon tea serves the same in Asia, but the courses and the service are adapted to the assorted palates and cultures of the country, enriching the experience for all tea enthusiasts and the tradition all over the world. The quintessential afternoon tea is an invitation to pause and savor life's elegant notes, an art of connection through symphony of flavors that brings laughter, conversations, and shared moments. The tradition will continue to thrive for many years ahead. Yet, at this existing time, often afternoon tea is interchanged with high tea. However, the differences are merely a direct result of their origins.